There is a promise many accomplished women quietly make with achievement. Not out loud, not consciously, but somewhere deep down, the promise sounds like this. If I keep going, this will get clearer. If I work hard enough, achieve enough, prove enough, build enough, eventually I will feel certain. Eventually I will know. Eventually, success will answer the question. And for a while, that promise can seem believable because achievement does do something. It opens doors, it builds confidence, it creates momentum. It gives you evidence that you're capable, it gives you a path you can point to, it gives other people a story they can recognize and affirm. So, of course, it is tempting to believe that if you just keep achieving, clarity will come with it. But many high achieving women eventually discover something unsettling. Success can move your career forward and still leave the deeper question unanswered. You can be doing very well and still feel unsure. You can be highly capable and still feel internally divided. You can be achieving in ways that look impressive from the outside and still feel that something important has not been settled on the inside. And that can be deeply confusing because from the outside, success looks like clarity. It looks like certainty. It looks like confirmation. It looks like proof that you must be in the right place. But success and clarity are not the same thing. Achievement can tell you that something is working. It cannot automatically tell you that something is true for you. That is a different question. And when women do not understand the difference, they often start doubting themselves. They think, why am I still questioning this? Or why do I feel unsettled when I have done so much right? Or why did I think this next milestone would make everything clear and it didn't? That is what we're going to talk about today. Why achievement does not always bring clarity. When success can sometimes delay the deeper truth instead of revealing it. And why understanding that may help you stop second guessing yourself and start listening more honestly and openly to what your life is trying to tell you now. Welcome to another episode of the Leadership Purpose with Dr. Robin podcast. I'm so glad you're here and listening to the podcast. I say it all the time and I will continue to say it. I really appreciate you for listening into the podcast and helping us get ranked in the top 5% of all podcasts globally, according to Listen Notes. So really appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And as you know, this is a space where we talk about career crossroads, leadership, purpose, identity, and the deeper questions thoughtful women encounter as their careers evolve. And this is the third part of a three-part mini-series. In the first part of this mini-series, which, by the way, if you're checking, was episode 271. And then the second one was 272, and this one is 273. All right, so in that first part of this three-part mini-series, we talked about the moment accomplished women start questioning their career. And then in the second one, we talked about why career crossroads are not random and the pattern they often follow. And today, I want to talk about something that sits right beneath both of those conversations. Achievement does not always bring clarity. In fact, sometimes achievement makes clarity harder. Not because achievement is bad, and not because ambition is bad, and not because success has no value, but because success can be loud. It can be persuasive. It can create momentum so strong that it becomes difficult to hear the quieter truth underneath it. And if you are a high achieving woman, this matters because many high achieving women have spent years learning how to move, respond, build, perform, achieve, and keep going. So when success itself stops producing the certainty you expected, that can feel very disorienting. But it can also be deeply revealing because it may show you that the question you are now asking is no longer a performance question. It is an identity question. It is an alignment question. It is a truth question. And success by itself cannot answer those. I think a lot of women make a hidden deal with success. Again, usually without realizing it. The deal goes something like this: I will work hard. I will be responsible. I will be excellent. I will achieve. And in return, life will become clearer. That is such an understandable deal to make because for a long time, it may feel like that is exactly how life works. You work hard and things move. You stay disciplined and doors open. You become excellent and more opportunities come. So naturally, you begin to assume that if you just keep doing your part, the clarity will eventually arrive too. That the career path will reveal itself through your success, that your accomplishments will confirm your direction, that your next level of achievement will settle the deeper uncertainty. But here's where things become more complicated. Achievement is very good at rewarding performance. It is not always good at revealing alignment. Achievement is very good at producing momentum. It is not always good at producing truth. Achievement can confirm that you are capable. It cannot automatically confirm that what you are building still fits the deepest truth of who you are now. That is where many successful, accomplished women get surprised because they were never only trying to achieve, they were also, often unconsciously, trying to become clear through achievement, trying to earn clarity, trying to produce certainty, trying to prove their way into a sense of peace. And eventually, many women realize something that changes everything. You cannot always achieve your way into inner clarity. At some point, something else is required. Part of the reason this is so hard is because success feels like it should be enough. It feels like evidence, it feels like confirmation. It feels like the answer should be inside. If I got the role, surely that should mean something. If I'm good at this, surely that should mean something. If people trust me here, value me here, affirm me here, surely that should mean something. And it does mean something, and that is important. It means you're capable. It means you have developed real strengths. It means you have built something. It means your work has mattered. And it means your contributions are real. So I don't want to bypass that. But what it may not mean is that the path is still fully aligned with who you are becoming. That is the distinction many women have to learn the hard way because success can answer the question, can you do this? But it does not automatically answer the question, should this still be your direction? Success can answer, are you effective here? But it does not automatically answer, does this still feel true for you now? Success can answer, can you keep going? But it does not automatically answer, do you want your life to keep going in this direction? Those are very different questions. And the reason this matters so much is because many women do not realize when they have shifted from one kind of question to another. They're still waiting for achievement to answer a question it no longer has the power to resolve. So here's a simple way to say this: success is persuasive. It tells a convincing story and it says, this is working. It says, keep going. It says, you belong here. And because it is backed by visible evidence, it can become much louder than the quieter signals inside of you. A title is visible, recognition is visible, results are visible, progress is visible, and other people's approval is visible. But the early signals of misalignment are often much quieter. Their signals are less energy, less resonance, less aliveness, more internal negotiation, a growing question you just can't shake, a feeling that you are functioning well, but you don't feel really connected to who you are. And those things are real too, but they're easy to dismiss because they do not announce themselves in the same visible way. And if you are someone who has been trained to trust what can be measured, what can be validated, what can be rewarded, then the quieter truths inside you may not initially feel authoritative. And this is especially true for high achieving women because many high achieving women have learned to trust results only, to trust discipline, to trust evidence, to trust what can be seen. And while, of course, all that can be valuable, some of the most important turning points in a woman's life begin as an inner knowing that cannot yet be neatly measured. That is one reason success can delay clarity, not because success is false, but because it can become so convincing that it drowns out the deeper conversation. And this is one of the hardest truths. Achievement can keep you moving long after the deep fit has changed, has shifted. Because when you're doing well, opportunities keep appearing. You get trusted more, you get handed more, you get invited to do the next thing. And because you're competent, you just keep responding. You keep saying yes, yes to the role, the responsibility, the visibility, the next logical step. And from the outside, that all looks like clarity. But sometimes it is not clarity. Sometimes it is momentum. Sometimes it is simply that the machine is still working. The path is still rewarding you. The system still knows how to use your strengths. The environment still sees value in what you do. So, of course, it keeps offering you more. But an open door is not always true direction. An available opportunity is not always an aligned opportunity. And being able to carry something is not the same as being meant to keep carrying it. That's a hard distinction for high achieving women because many of us are very good at carrying, very good at continuing, good at doing what needs to be done, rising to what is in front of us. But competence can hide truth. Capability can keep you functioning in places that no longer feel fully yours. And because you're still able to do it well, almost no one around you may realize that anything has shifted, has changed. Sometimes not even you at first. That is one of the hidden burdens of being highly capable. You can continue succeeding in spaces that may no longer fully belong, fit, or be true to who you are. Another reason achievement does not always bring clarity is because it often becomes more than performance. It becomes identity. So you do not just succeed at something, you become known as the kind of woman who succeeds at a thing. You become associated with it. Other people recognize you there. They trust you there. They expect you there. And over time, what began as a career path can start to feel like self definition. That makes questioning much more difficult because now you're not only asking, do I still want to do this? You're asking, who am I if I no longer want to do this? And that is not a small question. For so many high achieving women, achievement becomes a kind of identity shelter, a place where competence protects you, a place where certainty appears available, a place where your value is visible. So even when deeper truths begin shifting in you, it can feel risky to tell yourself the truth, not only because of what might change, but because of what the questioning itself seems to threaten. It can feel like you are threatening stability, threatening identity, threatening the story of what other people know about you, threatening the self you work so hard to become. That is why many women stay much longer than they need to in work that no longer feels fully true. Not because they are weak and not because they're unaware, but because achievement has become intertwined with selfhood. And disentangling those things require courage, real courage, the courage to admit, I know how to do this. I may even be excellent at this, but I need to tell the truth about whether it is still mine to do. Now, I think this is the core truth of this episode. Achievement answers some questions beautifully. It can answer, can I lead? Can I handle responsibility? Can I create results? Can I do difficult things? And those are meaningful questions. And achievement can answer them powerfully. But there are other questions achievement cannot answer by itself. Questions like, what is the truest use of my career life right now? What kind of work reflects who I have become? What am I no longer willing to trade for success? Those are deeper questions. They require more than just performance. They require more than just results, more than visible progress. They require truth and inner truth. And if a woman keeps asking achievement to answer those deeper questions, she may keep chasing milestone after milestone, hoping this next one will finally settle the feeling. The next title, the next promotion, accomplishment, level of recognition, the next expansion, the next proof point. And then sometimes she gets there and discovers that the milestone did exactly what milestones do. It marked progress, but it did not create peace. It confirmed ability, but it did not settle alignment. It rewarded effort, but it did not answer identity. This is painful when you first realize it, but it's also liberating because once you understand that, you stop demanding from success what only deeper inner honesty can give you. And I think high achieving women are especially vulnerable here for a few reasons. First, many high achieving women have learned to orient around excellence very early. We learn how to perform, we learn how to be dependable, we learn how to succeed within systems, how to respond well to expectation. And because that works, we keep doing it. Second, many women are rewarded not only for what they do, but how steadily they do it, for being strong, thoughtful, being the one who can handle a lot, for being the one who figures it out. So success does not just become something external, it becomes a part of your identity as a good, responsible, capable woman. And third, high achieving women are often so competent that they can remain externally successful while internally disconnected. And that point matters a lot because if you were falling apart, you would know something needed attention. But if you're still doing well, still performing, still earning praise, meeting expectation, it's much easier to tell yourself that the deeper discomfort must not matter. That is one of the hidden costs of competence. Let me say that again. That is one of the hidden costs of competence. It can delay reckoning. It can conceal misalignment. It can let you function for a very long time in a career life that no longer feels fully integrated with who you are. So when a high achieving woman says, why am I confused? Everything is going well. What she may really be encountering is not confusion. She may be encountering the limits of achievement, and she may be encountering the truth that capability and clarity are not the same thing. They're just not the same thing. They're not. And when I reflect on my own life, one of the lessons I have had to learn is that being able to do something well does not automatically mean it is meant to remain in my direction forever. I mean, that sounds obvious when you say it slowly, but it is not always obvious when you are living inside a career path that makes sense, rewards you, and keeps moving. Like many women, I understand hard work, responsibility, excellence. I understood responsibility. I understood excellence. I understood succeeding in spaces that made sense on paper. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with any of that. But at a certain point, I began to realize that excellence itself could not answer the deeper question I was starting to ask. I could lead, build, perform, I could keep going. But underneath all of that, another question had become important. Not just can I do this well, but is this still the direction I want my career life to go? And that's a different kind of question. And achievement could not answer it for me. Only inner truth could answer it. Only reflection could answer it. Only a deeper willingness to listen what was changing deep down in me could answer it. And I think that's one of the most important turning points for a woman at a career crossroads. The moment she realized that the next answer may not come from doing more, it may come from hearing more. All right, now I want to be clear here. This is not a rejection of success. It's not a rejection of ambition. It's not a rejection of excellence. I mean, success can do many beautiful things. It can reveal your strengths. It could stretch your capacity, build your confidence, expand your options. It can expose gifts that you didn't even know you had. It can create resources, influence, and experiences that matter deeply. So the issue is not achievement itself. The issue is what we ask achievement to do for us. Success can show you what you're capable of, but it cannot automatically tell you what is most deeply aligned. Success can create options, it cannot choose among them for you. Success can bring affirmation, it cannot replace self trust. Success can reward the career path you are on, but it cannot guarantee that that path still fits the person you are becoming. That's why a woman can see and experience both success while at a career crossroads. Those two things do not cancel each other out. So they can be both successful and at a crossroads at the same time. They can absolutely coexist. And understanding that can relieve so much unnecessary shame because many women secretly assume that if they were still questioning, it must mean that they have not achieved enough yet. But sometimes the opposite is true. Sometimes success is exactly what brings you to the edge of a deeper truth. Not because it failed, but because it did what it could do. And now something deeper is being asked of you. So if achievement does not automatically create clarity, then what does? I don't think clarity usually comes from rushing, and I don't think it comes from more proving. I do not think it comes from forcing yourself into certainty just because you think you should be clearer by now. I think real clarity often comes through a different process. It comes through slowing down enough to notice what is true in you. It comes from paying attention to where your energy comes alive and then where it goes flat. It comes through noticing where you're still moving from conviction and where you are moving mostly from momentum. It comes through naming what no longer fits, even if nothing is visibly broken. It comes through telling the truth about what success means to you now, not what it meant to you 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or at the beginning of your career path. It comes through distinguishing between what is impressive and what is aligned. It comes through identity before strategy. And that matters because many women try to solve a career crossroads by asking for tactics too early. They say, what should I do next? What role should I take? What move should I make? What is the smartest strategy? But if identity has shifted, strategy alone will not settle the question because clarity does not usually begin with a better plan. It begins with a more truthful relationship to self. That is slower work, but it is deeper work. And deeper work is what makes the next decision more stable when it finally comes. So if you're listening to this and realizing that some part of you thought success would settle the deeper question, I want to say this, and of course, with compassion. You are not foolish for thinking that. It's a very human assumption. And for a while, it may even have seemed true. Achievement did help. It did move you forward. It did confirm things. It did open doors. But if you're now discovering that success alone cannot answer what is deepest in you, that does not mean you failed to achieve enough. It may simply mean you are now asking a question achievement was never designed to answer. And that matters because once you recognize that, you can stop demanding from success only what inner truth can give you. And you can stop assuming that doing well should automatically mean feeling clear. And you can stop treating your uncertainty like a personal flaw because it is not. And you can begin seeing it for what it may actually be. Not confusion, not weakness, not lack of gratitude, but a deeper layer of discernment asking for room. That is not a failure of success. That is a sign that your life is asking for a more honest inner conversation of you. All right, so before we close this episode, I want to leave you with a few questions. Have you ever believed that the next level of success would make your direction feel clearer? Have you ever reached something meaningful and still found yourself asking deeper questions afterwards? Are there any places where you have mistaken momentum or clarity? And here's one more question. What are you still asking achievement to answer for you? Sit with that for a while because the moment you can name that question, you may begin to answer why success has not fully settled the uncertainty. And that understanding can be the beginning of real clarity. Okay, so when I started this episode, I said this was going to be the last in a mini series. But as I've been sharing with you today, it's on my heart to just keep it going for a while longer. Keep it going for at least several more episodes because I believe this direction can really make a difference, especially if you're going through a career crossroads. Because this is what we've done so far in this series so far. We talked about the experience that you're experiencing and helps you know that it is real. And then the last episode, we talked about how this experience is not random. And today we talked about how success does not automatically create clarity. So I want to keep it going for several more episodes in this series that we'll call the Career Crossroads series. But in the very next episode, we're going to talk about another reason career crossroads can feel so difficult. A lot of career advice starts with strategy too soon. That's the answer. A lot of career advice starts with strategy too soon. It jumps straight to what you should do next before helping you understand who you are now. So, in the next episode, we're going to explore why strategy alone often fails at a career crossroads and why identity, who you are, has to come before direction, what you do. If you want decisions that actually feel clear, grounded, and true. So, if you're an accomplished woman, a successful woman who has been wondering why achievement has not brought the clarity you expected, I want to leave you with this. Your success is real. Your accomplishments matter. What you have built counts, but success alone may not be able to answer the deeper question in front of you. That question may require something slower, something quieter, not more proving, not more performing, but a deeper willingness to hear yourself honestly. So I want to thank you for listening to this episode and joining us on this Career Crossroads series of episodes of the Leadership Purpose podcast. I really appreciate you. And if this conversation resonated with you, be sure to follow the podcast so you don't miss the next episode in the series. All right. And until next time, I'll see you in the next episode. This is Dr. Robin.